Hi everyone, it's your how-to teacher, Sierra, and today I'm going to be doing a two-part tutorial using PowerPoint. And as you can see, we're going to be creating a virtual classroom. So part one is going to be your basics of how to set up just your main room of your virtual classroom, customize it however you want, where to find items to put in your classroom, how to make them if you need to. Part two, we're going to dive a little deeper, and as you can see, we're going to be adding multiple rooms to your main room and being able to link everything and make it very interactive for your students. So, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get started. All right, guys, so we're ready to get started. So, like I said, this part one is just the basics. We're going to go over how to create this type of virtual classroom, just the basics, show you how to find all the different furniture or things you need and how to put things on the wall. So we're going to go through that right now. And to get to this, of course, we have to start with a brand new slide. I think I'm just going to pull up a brand new blank presentation. All right, so we have our brand new blank presentation. It's like your blank classroom at the beginning of the school year. Yay, so many things you can do with it. What I want to do is I want to highlight everything, and that's just so I can get rid of it. You can also go to layout, which is right here, and go to blank, and that will do the same thing. It will take it away. All right, so the first thing that you're going to have to do is put a background. Now, how I like to do this is I like to actually set the actual background of my slide as a picture. And I do that because if I give this to my students and it's an editable file where they're going to do something or move something, I don't want them to accidentally click and move my entire background or everything on the slide. So we are going to go over here to design on our top panel. Once we're in design, there we go. We're going to go over here to format background. All right, so once we're in our format background, it's going to pull over here. It's going to pop up on you. We want to insert a picture. So we're going to click picture, and it's always going to probably pull up whatever the default might be. So right now it's this little, I don't know what that is, thatch background. I don't want that, of course. So I want to insert a picture source. So I'm going to go to insert, and it gives me three different things that I can use. I can insert one from a file. So if you maybe have already downloaded or found a background that you want to use and you've saved it and you have a picture file on your computer, go ahead and insert it from your file. If you are not sure what they have or what you don't have anything, that's okay. We can go to online pictures, and basically we'll pull up a search. And we are going to search for different types of backgrounds. And I'm going to give you some different things to put in. So one of the things I like to put in is wall and floor background. Now this will bring up, as you can see, plenty of different types of wall and floor backgrounds where you'll have your wall and some sort of flooring. Typically, you're probably going to get the most accurate pictures of what you've asked for in these top few, because after that, it kind of gets a little not really what you want, but that's okay. So we'll come back up here. Oop, went a little slow today. That's okay. We'll come back up here and we'll pick one that we like. And you may have seen many of these, if not all of these, at some point. And it's okay if you pick one, you get it on there, and you're like, I don't like this. Guess what? You can change it. You can change it anytime you want. You just go back and do that format background. So let's say, I know this one's a pretty popular one. I've used this one. Let's go with this one for today. So you'll click it. When it highlights red, you'll insert. And now that is our background. And it can't be clicked, it can't be moved. It's not going anywhere. So now that we have our background, what if this is a beautiful color of blue, but I might want it to look like my classroom. And my classroom has a green wall or a yellow wall or whatever, or I just don't like this color blue. That's okay. We can easily change that. And this is how we can do that. We're going to go up here to insert in our top ribbon up here. And we're going to insert a shape. I like to make a lot of things on PowerPoint using shapes because most things are made of shapes. And if I look at this color of the wall, it's just one big rectangle. So I'm going to pull down a shape. I'm going to select a rectangle. And as you see, it gives you a little kind of a plus sign. So I'm going to start the middle of that plus sign right here at the corner. And I'm just going to drag and create a rectangle until it covers just about to that floor border. And now I have a new wall color. Now, of course, you can pick whatever color you want. Let's say, I know a lot of mine. Let's go with something different. I haven't had a green wall yet. So I can choose a green wall. I could change my outline to that same color so you won't have kind of a blue outline. That's default. And now, there you go. Now you have a green wall. In part 2, I'm going to show you kind of how to make this a background as well so the kids can move this, because the kids can move this. But for what we're doing right now, we're not going to worry about that because we're not going to really put too much interactivity on this page other than click and go. So now I have a pretty green background, green classroom. It's beautiful. I love it. Now let's get to the fun part. Let's decorate our empty classroom here. All right, so the first thing I pretty much put on here was the whiteboard or the smart board or whatever you might have. If you have a chalkboard and you want it to look like your classroom, you can do that. So I'm going to get rid of my format background for right now. Maybe, there we go. And I'm going to go back to that insert. Anytime we want to put something in, we want to insert it. And I'm going to pick a picture. Now, again, there are plenty of things on like TPT, online that you might have found, pictures that you might have already saved. If that's the case, you're just going to go here to pictures and insert them from whatever file or folder you saved it to. If you are starting from scratch and you have nothing, all right, you're going to go right here to online pictures. We're going to do pretty much the same thing we did with finding that background. We're going to search for, I guess we can put in a whiteboard. Let's go with a whiteboard today. So one of the key words that you're going to put in when looking for a picture is the word transparent. When you put that in, it's going to try to find the pictures that don't have a background. So they're just clear background and just the picture. Doesn't always happen. Part two, we'll talk about how to fix that. And I'll also put in a link in the description here that might help you with that as well. But for right now, we're just going to put in transparent whiteboard. Let's see what comes up. This is a lot of trial and error, guys, I'm telling you. And I think as more and more people are making these, more and more are popping up, because this was not what I found when I first started making a virtual classroom like a month ago. It is this I did not get all of these great options. So here you have some excellent options. Um, if you have a smart board that looks like this will be a good option, but you also have to look at the angles. And right now we'd be looking straight on, so this probably wouldn't look as good. I like this one. I think this is the one I pretty much usually use. If you still have the old school awesome blackboard or green board, use it. Make it look like your room. Make it look like what the kids will actually see when hopefully, fingers crossed, we come back. But for right now, I'm just going to go with the whiteboard, because that's pretty much what I have. Once it highlights, I'm going to insert it. And there we go. Now it's really big. Don't want to take up that much. Great room, especially I'm not going to be writing on this in real life. So it doesn't need to take up the whole room. It might just have welcome on it, or here's what we're going to do today. So there's my whiteboard. I put it on. I center it wherever I want it to go. You'll know it's centered because those little red dotted line will pop up, so you'll know it's centered. And there we go. We have a whiteboard. Same thing with a desk. Let's say I want a desk. I'm going to go back to insert. There we go. And again, I'm going to use that magic word, transparent. And I am going to look for a teacher desk. Let's try and never search for teacher desk. So let's see. Oh, well, we get a lot of good options. So we have a teacher desk. We have a student desk, it looks like. So this is up to you. You choose what you want to sit in. Okay, what would you like to sit in? Would you want to sit at a teacher desk, a chair, or I personally in my classroom, I don't have a desk at all. So anything I use is usually a table or a student desk by the smart board. So I think I'm going to do that with mine. I'm just going to pick this. I'm going to insert it. It's really big. I use those corner ones, so when I resize, it still keeps it the same ratio. Because otherwise, if you try to resize with this, it's going to get very ugly looking. So Control Z, that's a little tip. Control Z will undo. So I hit Control Z. And again, I'm on a HP Windows computer, so I'm not quite sure Mac people, but I know there are codes. I'm just not a Mac user, I'm sorry. So now I have a little desk, and you can put whatever you want on there. I might put a laptop, and again, you just look for that. Now I need something for me to sit in. I would like to sit down. So use that magic word, transparent. And in my classroom, I teach kindergarten, so I sit in a rocking chair. And there we go. First thing that pops up. Lots of pretty chairs, though. There are a lot of fun chairs in here. You can have fun, be creative, like, do whatever you want. You want to sit in a king or a queen's chair? Go ahead, go for it. It's up to you. That's the beauty of this. You do whatever you want. You want it to be your classroom that you've always dreamed of? Hey, go for it. All right, sometimes it will pop up with this author license, and these are Creative Commons pictures, so they have been deemed okay to use on your things. So I just highlight that and delete it. Now my chair is facing the wrong direction, and I can easily fix that. Once I make sure it's highlighted, you'll know it's highlighted because you'll have the box with the dots around it. And I'm going to go up here to picture format. And this is going to let me change or do a lot of different things with my picture. I want to reverse it or rotate it. So I'm going to click this little, it looks like a triangle ramp with an arrow. And I don't want to rotate it because that's going to spin it. I want to flip it, and I want to flip it horizontally. If I flipped it vertically, it would flip upside down. All right, so I flip it horizontally. And so now we have my chair going the way I want it to look. And I'm going to make it just a little bigger. And downsize my desk here a little bit. And it's okay if you have some things that are realistic pictures and some things that are more animated, cartoonish. I love a good mix. I don't know. I kind of think it just makes it just how the virtual classroom is. It just makes it more fun where you have some real things, some cartoon things all working together. Why? Because you can. All right. So now that we have that, we're going to put just one more thing in our classroom, and that's a rug. Especially if you have a group center time or anything, a whole group area, you might want to have a rug. So I'll put that transparent, the magic word. Um, this one you can try different things. If you just put in rug, you'll get pretty basic everyday home rugs, which are fine to use here. I think let's try classroom rug and see what pops up. Yeah, pretty much the same. I've had a hard time finding rugs. You could always look on Google and you'll probably find all the different types of cute rugs that we typically have in the classroom. But for this, I'm just going to go with this one. It's long, so it's not going to take up a lot of space. And it's on a bit of an angle, which is kind of something we want. We want it to be on a bit of an angle so that it looks like it's actually sitting on the ground. And it's okay if it hangs off the bottom. That's going to be cut off from the main picture. If you can kind of see over here, it's a little cut off, which is fine because it looks like you took a picture and that part just didn't make it into the picture. You definitely don't want it to be on the wall. So there we go. Now it looks like our rug is on top of our desk. Well, we can fix that. If we click the desk, we can go over here. It's still under picture format. If it's not, you just click the picture format button. It's always going to pop up as long as you have a picture highlighted. And you're just going to bring that to the front. Now that it's in the front, it looks like it's sitting on top of the rug. All right, so we're going to keep this simple. Of course, once you're ready to go, you can add whatever you like to this classroom. I'm going to talk about just a couple more things to add before I let you go and see what beautiful things you create. Of course, you can't have a Bitmoji classroom without your Bitmoji, right? So, to get your Bitmoji, the first thing you do is you need to download the app. Whatever type of app store you have on your phone or tablet, download that app. and it will walk you through the process of creating the Bitmoji to look like you. Once you have that, you've made the account and everything. When you go onto your Google Chrome, you're going to be able to go to this little button here. It says extensions. And actually, yeah. And if we go down to the bottom, it says manage extensions. Now, of course, I already have the Bitmoji extension, but if you don't, you're going to want to go here. It's not going to show up here. You're going to click the three little lines in the corner and go all the way down to the bottom where it says open the Chrome Web Store. You might not be able to see that, but it's at the very bottom when you're watching this on playback. And here you can search for your extension you want. You just type in Bitmoji, and it should be the first thing that pops up. You'll click add to Chrome. Like I said, I already have it, so I don't need to add it, but you'll add to Chrome and it will direct you to sign in. You'll sign in with that same email and password that you used when you made it on your phone. So technically you could have different Bitmojis as long as you had different accounts. I know when I made ones for my students, I had my account because I didn't want to change my Bitmoji every time. And then I used a different email and made a different account for my students so I could make their Bitmojis. All right, so I'm going to get out of the extensions. I'm going to go right on up here and I'm going to click the little Bitmoji icon that will pop up once you have the extension. And here you will see all of your cute Bitmojis. Now, of course, I want to be sitting in a seat. So I'm just going to type in sit. And it's going to give me a bunch of different sitting positions. And so this is the one I want to use. And what I'm going to do is it kind of gives you directions. You can either drag, you can always drag it, or right click, copy image. And then we're going to go back to our PowerPoint. And now I'm going to right click again, not on a picture. And you can paste it. I prefer to just use Control V as in van. And my Bitmoji will pop up. There she is. So I'm going to make her a little smaller. And again, she's not going the right way to sit in the chair. So I'm going to make sure she's clicked. Go up to that picture format. Go back to that rotate objects. And I'm going to flip her horizontally again. And then I'm just going to drag her over. And since she's the last thing I put on, she's on top automatically. So she's on top of all the other pictures. And I'm just going to sit her in that cute little rocking chair. And since I'm pretty tall, I'm going to make myself a little bigger. And you just arrange her. So now you got that. If you want to be standing, you can type in stand. But you can pick whatever Bitmoji you want. And you'll find, like, here's a lot. These are pretty much mine. I know a lot of people use this one. Again, right click, copy, back to here, Control V, and there we go. Oopsie. Just click off. There we go. Now I have two of me. All right, so now the last thing I'm going to show you with this is how to add all of the things that make your classroom look like a classroom. From the alphabet line, the numbers, the letters, whatever you have on your wall posters, we can easily add those. Now, if you have, let's say, a set of alphabet letters that you maybe bought on TPT or that you made yourself or anything of that nature, you can always use this little button down here with the little scissors, the snipping tool, and it's on everybody's computer. If you just type in the search snipping tool, you can use that. And basically what it does is you'll get that little plus sign again, and whatever you put into that box that you create, we'll take a picture of it. So if you have those that you already have on your computer, go ahead and take a picture of them if you want it to really look like your classroom. If you have some alphabet letters or numbers or any type of poster that you might already have that's already online or on your computer, I'm sorry, then you can go ahead and snip those and you can use them in your classroom. Yeah. Now that's what I've done already. So I'll just show you those really quick. And since they're in a file already, I just went ahead. I have already made a bunch of, welcome to my life here on the camera, huh? I've already made a bunch of snips of all the things that I've had in my classroom. And these are pretty much all the things I actually use that are actually on my wall that I've created. So I'm going to start at A, then I'm going to go down to Z. I'm going to push Shift and select it. Now I would have all my letters. I'm going to insert. They're going to be big. That's okay. This way I can make them all small in the same size. So and then you can just move them. They have a lot of little guides on PowerPoint that will help you make sure they're lined up. Like I said, you just move them. You'll have a whole thing. So I'm not going to do all of that right now because that will take forever. But I'm going to move those out of the way for a second. But you kind of get the gist. You can put those on your wall. You can put whatever you want. If you don't have anything like that, head over to Google and you can search for things you want. You can go to the fun stores, your teacher stores that you might go to, and pull up the pictures and do that same thing with the snipping tool. And you can cut those out. I know TPT might have some. Even if you want a calendar, I know my theme is like woodland, so I just typed in woodland, animal, classroom, calendar. And there's lots, but I can't do anything with those. So I'm going to look at the pictures, see what they have. And here's one, and it's a rectangle. I don't know if I can pull that quite up. There it is. And then, of course, use that snipping tool again. And you can just snip that. You can even make a rectangle around these months of the year. And then once you do that, you save them. You'll save that snip. Go back into your PowerPoint. Click your picture. And there it is. I have my calendar. I'm going to insert it. And now I have a calendar, and this is actually the one I use in my classroom. And there we go. I did, of course, the same thing with the months on top. And it's that easy. All right, so I am going to go over just a couple little quick things with you before I let you go and be creative. We can add something to our whiteboard easily by going up here to that insert. We went to our insert tab, and then we're going to add a text box. So I'm going to click that, and now I get kind of an upside down cross. And I'll just drag that, and now I have a text box. Now I want it to be centered, so I'm going to go to the centered paragraph lines, and I'm just going to type welcome. Now it's a little small, so there we go. All right, so I'm going to highlight. I'm just going to make it a little bigger. There we go. Now I have a welcome board. We can always add other things. Clearly, this classroom is not completely done. It's going to take me a little while to actually finish this whole classroom, just like setting up your own classroom takes a while. It takes just as long on the computer as well. But you have the basics of how to find items, how to get items if you don't already have them. Of course, how to put your cute Bitmoji into the scene. And there's so many different poses and styles. Just play with that. Look for different things. How to put text. And for right now, that's all we're going to really do for part one. That will get you a cute classroom. If you come back for part two, we will go more in depth with this. We will figure out how to put links, add more parts of the classroom, make it super interactive. So if you love this one, make sure, of course, you like and subscribe to my channel so I can do tons more videos like this. And I cannot wait to see what you create for your virtual Bitmoji classroom. I'm so excited. All right, guys, have fun. Bye-bye.